Hola chicos del Planeta, bienvenidos a una nueva entrevista. Estamos aquí con Brian Fennell, más conocido como SYML. Bueno, Brian, hi. Well, welcome
Hi.
virtually to Peru. How have you been?
I've been good, just been crazy, sort of getting the album out into the world and preparing for some tour dates. But yeah, all good.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, it's been like a month since you just dropped the album. How do you feel that people has like taken it so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like a little bit nerve-wracking to like have new music out in the world, but so far I've only, heard really positive and like emotionally connected responses. So I'm really proud of it. I think like I hope that people take it and make it personal for them and not necessarily exactly what the place I created it from. That's like what I think is really beautiful about music is that people can take it and make it their own. So far, I think that people are, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, we can always relate to something, because we've all been through stuff, so we can always kind of relate through music. So before we continue speaking about the album itself, I want to just go back a little bit, like in time. I know it's been a while since you've been by yourself, but what would you say it made you decide go your own way as like a singer?
Yeah, so I used to be in a band, right? And that was, in a lot of ways, it was great because we were best friends and we got to grow up together in our 20s and, experience like all the craziness that you do in your 20s. And creatively, it was also really special. I grew a ton and learned a lot about who I am as a musician and also as a person. So when the band ended, it was like kind of a natural ending. It wasn't like we had a big fight or some big disagreement. It was more like we got married and like started families and stuff. And that was, I think when I was younger, I thought that that would be like the end of the band if we got married or like had kids. But turns out that like it was actually a great refocusing for me, like professionally and creatively. So Simmel started around the same time as Barcelona ended, but they really didn't have much to do with each other.
Oh, okay, all right. And how would you say like the road has been for you like ever since? Do you prefer that? You prefer it that way,
I
or
do, yeah. I
do
like
you
being
miss it?
alone. Like I think the music I make is really like I create alone a lot. And so having that space and Simmel had no pressure like when it started, right? So like nobody was waiting around for Simmel. So I got to take my time and try producing stuff in a way that I had not done before. So or writing in a way where I wasn't trying to like get on the radio or sign a major label deal or something. So because of that no pressure sort of condition, it made for like a really sort of special start to the project. And ever since then, I mean, it's been awesome. Like I can't believe that it's been received the way it has around the world. And like my old band never got to leave the United States. So to be able to go to Europe and coming up to Mexico kind of soon, like just all the different places that I really wanted to go. So I'm happy.
Right, right. You get to know the world a little bit more,
Yeah.
and well, I guess like the freedom of just making decisions by yourself is like a lot
Yeah.
like better and feels good, right?
I mean, it's
Okay,
lonely. It can be lonely, but like, I like that I don't know. I feel like because I have like a family and a really healthy team that I get to work with, the times I get to be alone is not like lonely. It's just like I love that.
right. Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's speak about the album. What we're here for, actually. So, well, we of course know like what is it about and what's your inspiration behind these, but I mean, how did you manage to create such like a beautiful work of art with such a tragic event? And like even the name says it. So how did you manage to like put all this energy to all this album? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah. I mean, the when I picked the title, The Day My Father Died, it wasn't meant to be um a album full of sad songs. Like it's really a celebratory album, and it's more about like how my perspective changed through him going through cancer and then eventually passing away. But this could be anything. It could be like a kid being born or falling in love or losing a friend. It's these sort of big life things, but really it's big because it affects how we see things for the rest of our lives. Like we can't go back and unknow something or unsee something. And now, but I think that's really beautiful. I think that sort of that part of our lives, and again, like we talked about earlier, everyone goes through these things. And even though we're unique and different from each other, we're actually very similar in our experience here. And so anyway, I thought that this record would be sort of the beautiful side of that, of celebrating somebody who was with us, but also celebrating the people that are still here. Like it changed how I saw my mother and my sister and my wife and kids. And I find that really beautiful.
Right. Like being grateful for what we have, but also like, I don't know, it's the word resilience for what we've lost. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. What would you say was your favorite song to work on?
Ooh. I mean, it was really long, right? It was still in the pandemic, so it took a long time to record this. So like in the beginning, I was really in love with some of the earlier songs on the record. And then by the end, I really love this song called Corduroy, which is the last song. It just makes me feel like super cozy and safe. And it's like really beautiful too. So it's like, it checks all the boxes for me.
Oh, okay. Well, now that you mention it, I completely forgot about the pandemic. So this is a COVID album because we have
Yeah,
a bunch of those. We have like a bunch of new music from every single artist that have been like working on during
yeah,
like the quarantine when we were like
yeah,
under lockdown, and there was nothing else to do but like for you guys
yeah,
making music, right?
yeah.
So how did you manage that time? What were you doing aside, of course, from lots of music?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was writing about too, was like, even though we were all sort of locked up in different ways, life kept on going on, right? Like people had kids, people died, people like, fell out of love, like whatever it was, these life things that always happen felt more like hyper focused because we were all sort of experiencing the same thing at the same time. So I was like fascinated by that. So it was a good time to write songs because nobody was touring. And I loved it because I got to be home. And like, I say that realizing that it was really hard for other people too. So as far as my life and my family are concerned, it was a good thing for us to be together.
Yeah, I know. I feel that because like I mean, luckily in my family nobody got sick, but I know
Yeah,
that's not like the reality of many people in the world, and I feel
yeah,
very sad about it. But it was, if we want to see something good in it, is that we got so much time to spend with our
yeah,
families and to cherish like stuff we didn't before, like the
yeah.
small stuff. And well, yeah, your music always like says that, so we're good with that. Okay, so what's coming next for you? What can we expect?
Well, I mean, I have tour coming up, so like there's a bunch of new shows, or a bunch of shows with new music, which has been really fun. We just finished rehearsing for that. And anytime you get to share new music, it's like the version that lives on the album is out now, right? But like these songs have never been performed really live, and so now they'll have like this second life where like when I go see an artist that I really love, and I know their albums really well, but then I hear it live, there's like a whole other life that happens with that song, with that artist. And so, and that can happen for me too with my own songs. So I'm really excited to kind of see where those songs grow beyond now. But yeah, and then it's just new music after new music. And I've been working on a bunch of fun new stuff. So I'm excited for that to eventually come out too. But we're focused on the new music right now that's out.
Okay, we'll wait for that. And hopefully, yes, well, hearing live songs, it's a whole new experience. So hopefully maybe we can get a live album like from this, like from the
Yeah,
tour
absolutely.
you're,
That's a good
that
idea.
would be amazing.
I'll send an email.
That would be amazing. Okay, Brian. So, like before we finish, with what artists would you like to collaborate with, like in the future?
Ooh, my gosh, I get asked this question a lot. I think that like this is probably impossible, but I'll just put it out into the world. Like artist that I grew up loving and listening to is Paul Simon, and he's still with us. And so if there's ever a chance for us to collaborate and work on a song together, I would absolutely love that. I mean, there are like on this record that I just released, there are some collaborations that I like couldn't have imagined because of how much a fan I am of those artists. So I'm just gonna let it keep happening. Like in terms of, I got to collaborate with Lana Del Rey on her new record, and that blows my mind just saying that out loud. So I'm just gonna say Paul Simon. We'll see what the universe does. Hopefully it's good.
Okay, yes, why not? Let's manifest it. So
Yeah,
it happened. Yeah, nothing is impossible.
that's
How were
right.
you doing? Like, right. I just remember about the Lana Del Rey collaboration. How did you feel working with her? How was it?
I mean, I have the utmost respect for her. She's obviously a queen in her own right of creativity, and her how she shares her creative identity with everybody. When we met, she found me through a song that I'd written, and we met in LA. And she came to a show that same day that we met. And it was crazy. I mean, like it was like, I think after you share enough of yourself creatively, it's sort of like you can be fast friends, like because a lot of the defenses are down, and it's not like just meeting somebody on the street, right? Like you have sort of an understanding of each other before you meet, which doesn't make it like not scary, but it also presents a really special connection. So I'm just happy that it happened and that we met, and it was I'm just honored to be a part of her record.
Right. Yeah. And it was a great collaboration. And I feel like just working together and being into music, you already have like so much in common and
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I bet you had a great time. Okay, Brian, thank you for being with us today. It was very nice to meet you. And I really hope not even like seeing you virtually, but you should come to Latin America soon. I mean, you have
Yes,
a tour.
no, I will. It's in the plans, and I can't wait to visit. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. It was nice meeting you.
You too.